Daniel in the Lion's Den, a story that echoes through time, a testament to faith that defied death. Join us as we delve into the narrative of Daniel, a young Jewish man who found himself thrown into the perilous depths of a lion's den. His unwavering commitment to his faith in the face of mortal danger serves as a beacon of hope and courage even today. The story is set against the backdrop of ancient Babylon, a time when the Jewish people were in exile after their homeland had been conquered by the Babylonian Empire. In this foreign land, they were subjected to cultural assimilation policies enforced by King Darius the Mede. Darius was a ruler known for his tolerance of different cultures and religions, but he also faced pressures from those who sought to diminish the influence of Judaism within his kingdom. In the midst of this tension, Daniel, a man of deep religious conviction, continued to pray fervently toward Jerusalem. This act of devotion, while deeply personal, became a point of contention when it came to the attention of jealous colleagues who saw Daniel's faithfulness as a threat to the harmony Darius was trying to maintain. They concocted a plan, weaving a tale of deceit that would lead directly to Daniel's demise. These envious individuals approached the king with a fabricated story, claiming that Daniel had broken a law of the empire by praying to a god other than the king. In a moment of weakness, or perhaps influenced by his advisors, Darius made a decree that anyone caught praying to any god or human being other than the king for 30 days would be thrown into the den of lions. This edict, intended to target Daniel specifically, inadvertently exposed the depth of religious intolerance present in the society. As the news of the decree spread, the Jewish community, including Daniel's friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, were faced with a harrowing choice. On one hand, there was the unwavering commitment to their faith, and on the other, the very real possibility of a gruesome death at the hands of hungry lions. When Daniel learned about the decree, his response was not one of fear, but of resolute faith. He decided to continue praying, he had always done, undeterred by the imminent danger that lay ahead. This decision was not an impulsive act, but rather the culmination of a life lived in close communion with God. Daniel's consistent prayer life had become an integral part of who he was. It was not something he could just abandon, not for any earthly ruler, not for any amount of time, and certainly not in the face of death. In stark contrast to Daniel's steadfastness, the rest of the Jewish community fell into a state of panic and distress. They implored Daniel to conform, to compromise on his faith, so that he might survive. Their pleas were not born out of a lack of faith in God, but out of an all-too-human concern for the safety and well-being of their friend. They had seen the decree, they knew the severity of the punishment, and they feared for Daniel's life. However, Daniel's response to their entreaties was both resolute and reassuring. He understood their fears, yet he was unmoved in his resolve. He affirmed his faith in God's protective power over him and encouraged his friends to remain steadfast in their own faiths. Daniel's words were not a dismissal of their concerns, but a gentle reminder of a deeper truth, that God was in control. With a heavy heart, his friends left him, knowing that they would see him soon, but not in the way they had hoped. As evening descended, casting long shadows over Babylon, Daniel made his way to his usual place of prayer. Unfazed by the lurking danger, he knelt down and began to pray, pouring his heart out to God. His prayer was not a desperate plea, but a reverent conversation with a God he trusted completely. The night was dark, the silence heavy with anticipation. Suddenly, the sound of approaching footsteps broke the quiet. It was the king's guard come to enforce the decree. Without a word, they bound Daniel's hands and feet, dragged him to the edge of the lion's den, and pushed him into the darkness. The roar of the lions was deafening, a symphony of snarls and growls that echoed Daniel's pounding heart. As the heavy stone door was rolled shut, plunging the den into darkness, Daniel was surrounded by the stench of the wild beasts. Fear, if it had been present at all, had vanished, replaced by a calm that surprised even him. With a deep breath, Daniel turned his thoughts back to God, whispering a prayer of gratitude for the life he had lived, for the faith he held, and for the peace that now enveloped him. As the first rays of sunlight pierced through the cracks in the den, a hush fell over the crowd gathered outside. King Darius stood among them, his face etched with worrying. He had made the decree, but now he questioned its severity. Had he condemned an innocent man? Amidst the growing clamor, Daniel emerged from the den, unharmed and untouched by the lions. His calm demeanor amidst such peril amazed everyone, including the king. Daniel's survival seemed nothing short of miraculous, a testament to the power of his faith and the protective hand of God. Darius, recognizing the hand of God in Daniel's survival, ordered that Daniel be pulled from the den. The crowd erupted in cheers, and Daniel, still with hands and feet bound, was brought before the astonished king. Upon seeing Daniel unharmed, Darius's heart sank. He realized the gravity of his mistake, of the false accusations that had swayed his judgment. Overwhelmed with remorse, he immediately ordered the door to the den to be opened, rushing in to ensure Daniel's safety. As the den's entrance opened, the sight that greeted Darius was nothing short of miraculous. There was Daniel, his hands and feet still tied, yet standing unharmed in the midst of the lions. This scene, which had seemed impossible just moments before, was now a reality, a living testament to Daniel's unwavering faith and God's protective power. Bound, though Daniel was brought before the king, his physical restraint was no match for the chains that bound him spiritually. As he stood there, his eyes shining with the light of his faith, his spirit was unbroken. The king could see the strength that radiated from him, a strength that had not come from worldly means, but from a deep connection with a higher power. Upon seeing this, Darius realized the depth of his error. The accusations against Daniel, which had seemed so credible before, now appeared as baseless fabrications. The gravity of his mistake pressed down on him, reminding him that he was not just a king, but a servant of the Most High God. In that moment, Darius's remorse was profound. He understood that he had been manipulated, used by those who sought to advance their own interests by tearing down a man of God. The realization hit him with the force of a revelation. As Darius processed his feelings of guilt and shame, his thoughts turned to restitution. He knew that he had to rectify the wrong he had done to Daniel, not only to restore Daniel's honor, but also to reaffirm his own commitment to justice and righteousness. The path forward was clear to him. He would have to confront those who had lied to him, who had woven a tale of deceit that nearly cost an innocent man his life. But more importantly, he needed to acknowledge Daniel's faith publicly, to declare before the people of Babylon the unwavering power of the God whom Daniel served. With newfound determination, Darius took the necessary steps to make things right. He confronted the accusers, exposing their lies and bringing them to justice. Their deceitful plot, which had threatened to tear apart the very fabric of his kingdom, was unveiled. As the truth came to light, Darius's respect for Daniel grew. He saw in Daniel not just a man of unwavering faith, but a beacon of truth and integrity. The king's admiration was evident, his actions a testament to the impact Daniel had made on him. The public humiliation of the accusers was swift and severe, ensuring that their treachery would not be forgotten. However, Darius's magnanimity did not end there. He wished to honor Daniel, to show the people of Babylon that a man who had survived the wrath of lions was indeed blessed by God. In a grand ceremony that resonated throughout Babylon, Darius declared Daniel's innocence and reaffirmed his commitment to religious tolerance within his kingdom. It was a pivotal moment, a turning point that shifted the perception of many towards the Jewish faith and its followers. As Daniel stood there, basking in the glow of his vindication, he knew that his ordeal had not been in vain. His faith, which had been tested in the fires of adversity, had emerged stronger than ever. And in the process, he had become a symbol of hope and resilience for his people, and an example of unwavering faith for all. The ordeal in the lion's den, which had seemed like a tragic chapter in Daniel's life, now became a defining moment, a testament to the triumph of faith over fear, of truth over deceit, and of hope over despair. In the aftermath of the den incident, Daniel's reputation soared to new heights. His courage and faith became a source of inspiration for the Jewish community, reminding them of the strength they possessed in their beliefs. His story was passed down through generations, each retelling adding to the legend of the man who defied death in the jaws of lions. Beyond the Jewish community, Daniel's story echoed across Babylon and beyond. People from various cultures and faiths marveled at his tale, recognizing in it universal truths about courage, faith, and the triumph of good over evil. His name became synonymous with resilience, his ordeal a case study in the power of unwavering belief. Yet amid all the fame and adulation, Daniel remained humble. He understood that his ordeal was not about him, but about the God he served, a God whose power knew no bounds and whose love for humanity was immeasurable. Daniel's journey, therefore, became a spiritual guide for many, teaching them not just about faith, but also about humility and gratitude. As years went by, Daniel continued to serve his God, his heart filled with the peace that comes from a life well lived. He remained a beacon of light in a world that often veered into darkness, reminding everyone around him of the hope that shone eternal. So remember the tale of Daniel in the lion's den, a story that transcends time. May it inspire you to seek God with all your heart, to stand firm in your beliefs, and to embrace challenges with courage, knowing that with faith, no obstacle is insurmountable.